first time that I met Ken, we were on bicycles, and our friendship from that first day has revolved around cycling. After commuting to downtown Calgary for a few years, we planned our first cycling trip, Golden Triangle 1998. It was on that trip that we first dreamed about riding our bikes across Canada. It took 15 years, but the opportunity finally arose for us to do it in June and July 2013.
By coincidence, we both realized in October 2012 that we would be finishing up our current jobs on May 31st and could take a break to do the trip. In late October, we prepared a preliminary itinerary and budget, estimating that it would be 6,061 kilometers and would cost us $6,700 each. Our route would start at Horseshoe Bay in Vancouver, cross the Rockies and the Prairies, go beneath Lake Superior into the northern United States, back into Ontario to Quebec, and then New Brunswick, and would finish in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island 59 days later at an average of 114 kilometers per day.
Alright, here's our first training ride. Easter weekend. What's the date? March 30th. Feeling good. Frank 520 Roadster. Hoping not to see too much of this. And are you well trained? Day 5 of training. Feeling better every day. It's packing day. Well, there they are. You got your family to come? Oh man, how did you fit them in the car?
We traveled one
Alright, you all ready for this?
Yeah, ready. The great adventure begins.
Cheers. Fingernail clippers, especially when your knife gets confiscated or secured. Jeff Germo, my long-lost cousin from Richmond, BC, is going to help us on the first leg from the airport up to Horseshoe Bay. You're too lucky to ride it.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
No worries.
Because if we are,
Well, thanks, Jeff, for coming to the airport and picking us up today. It's been awesome that you've been able to come with us and share the beginning of the journey.
You know what? That was amazing. I wouldn't have missed it for the world, and I'm really glad that you called me up, even for the last minute.
So I can't believe that we're actually here and it's actually started.
I'm with you. It's been a long time thinking and planning about it. All right.
Make it happen.
Hey, Cam, want to go for a bike ride today?
It was hard to believe that it was finally here. We got ready in our hotel room for the first time and headed to Horseshoe Bay.
Shout out to Blake Corbett for getting up early and coming to help us mark this auspicious occasion. How's it going, Blake?
It's I'm ready to start a ride across Canada.
All right.
I may not finish it.
And the tire gets dipped.
In the water.
Cam and Ken, the beginning of a long journey from the west coast to the east coast. Dipping your tire in Horseshoe Bay, that's the Pacific Ocean, and off you go.
All right.
So best wishes for a long, fun, and eventful trip, and a safe one, most importantly.
And so it begins.
Blake Corbett is an investment banker friend who I had worked with on a number of projects. He lives 13 kilometers from Horseshoe Bay, and he and his wife Tracy graciously invited us for a bon voyage brunch.
Thank you so much for having us, Tracy and Blake. This was a wonderful way to start. Ken said it was a perfect start for the trip.
Our pleasure. Wish you the best of luck.
Hope it continues.
And so we were on our way, just the two of us, our bikes, and the long road to the Atlantic Ocean. Our first milestone would be Calgary, at approximately 1,105 kilometers. We would need 9 riding days with nights in Abbotsford, Hope, Merritt, Kamloops, Salmon Arm, Revelstoke, Golden, and Banff, and we would arrive in Calgary on June the 10th.
Our game plan this trip was to stop and smell the roses and read the plaques as much as we can along the way, which a person doesn't always take the time to do.
There's the Trans-Canada Highway. We'll be following it most of the way to PEI. So now we begin the highway riding.
So we naively started up the Trans-Canada. Perhaps we should have had second thoughts when we saw the sign for 37 kilometers of construction, but we carried on. Curbs were soon replaced by concrete barriers with 6 to 24-inch shoulders. Roads merged into and off of the highway at full speed. After about 10 kilometers, I was riding a 12-inch shoulder between the barrier and the raised highway pavement. Suddenly, the shoulder began to narrow and I had to make a decision to try to climb the ledge onto the road or to stop. I hit the brakes and squeezed towards the barrier. My pannier got ripped from the bike by some rebar sticking out of the barrier and it rolled onto the highway. I stopped, leaned my bike against the barrier and ran back to save my pannier. I grabbed it and turned to see the weight of my other pannier cause my bike to fall onto the highway. I ran back and saved my bike before it got hit. Ken had come back to help and I remember him saying, "I can't imagine worse riding conditions." We decided to take the next exit and follow Blake's wise advice to ride the number 7 low-heat highway, which turned out to be a far more pleasant ride.
Back on the Trans-Canada after our exciting experience there yesterday. Much more comfortable with shoulders that are about 6 feet wide. We've got 81 kilometers to go to Chilliwack, or to Hope. That guy needs an Outback Max.
First flat of the trip, but Cam's got it under control. Do you have shares in a tire tube company or what?
Might have to invest. Although we did find a little piece of metal in my tire, which would be the root of all evil today.
The first road cycling trip that Cam and I did was from Calgary to Paddy's Flats in Kananaskis country. I don't remember much about the ride itself, but what I can recall most vividly was the exhilarating feeling of arriving. In the many trips that we've done since that time, that exhilaration has been duplicated, and even more so as we began our cross-Canada adventure.
It was a bad sign when I rolled over and saw that it was 7:28 and that we had overslept our planned 7 o'clock wake-up time. It was another bad sign when there was a challenging climb out of Hope to the highway. It was at that point that I admitted to Ken that I was nervous. The Coquihalla Highway was completed in 1986 to shorten the route from Hope to Kamloops by about 75 kilometers. However, in doing so, today's road climbs for 50 kilometers with grades approaching 10%, making it extremely challenging for cars, trucks, and especially for cyclists.
So I'm looking around, enjoying the beautiful day, and then I said, hey, wait a minute, it's not supposed to be so bright out here. Just came screaming down a hill at about 60 kilometers an hour, and I realized I didn't have my glasses on. "47 kilometers to the summit. We're halfway. Woohoo! Grinding our way up the Coquihalla. It's a challenge, but just one pedal at a time. We've got, we're right at 35K, 12K to go. See you at the top. I'm just glad some of these trucks are having as hard a time as me.
Approaching the summit of the Coquihalla. It's a beautiful day for a bike ride. This Coquihalla is nothing. It's nothing. It's for chickens and babies. The Garmin says 30 degrees. I don't believe it, but it's a beautiful day nonetheless. So we're at the Box Canyon chain-up area. It's about 12:30. We're 5.3 kilometers from the summit. At this rate, we should be there about 1 o'clock. Feeling strong. Eye of the tiger.
Well, we stopped at the Box Canyon chain-up area, and look who dropped in to chain up their vehicle.
Chain up the boys.
Lori Ford and her beautiful husband, Ernie.
Best of luck, boys. Best of luck, boys.
Thank you. Nice to see you guys.
And they brought us water!
That was the best thing of all, apart from their company.
We didn't realize it at the time, but the 5.3 kilometers from the Box Canyon chain-up area to the rest area would be one of the most difficult stretches we would face over the entire trip across Canada. Lori and Ernie were our angels of the day, appearing with cold water exactly when it was needed.
We've got 3 since our break. So, if everything is right, we got 2.3 kilometers to go if the sign back there is right.
One turn of the pedals at a time. Definitely not feeling as fun as I started. Woohoo! Summit is for chickens and babies. All right. Coquihalla is for chickens and babies. Ugh. Reflections on the ride, Ken?
Well, we were feeling pretty good, pretty cocky with 5.3 kilometers to go. But those 5.3 kilometers were some of the most grueling riding I've done in a long time.
Let's go see if you can break it. 27, 29, 31, 31, 71. I don't think so. This is what we've been waiting for. The summit, 1,244 kilometers. It's all downhill from here, about 16 kilometers. It's been a long day. I was a little mistaken. We gotta climb that. Ken Schultz! He waited for me. There's Merritt, BC, the Nicola Valley. We're rewarded with a 13-kilometer downhill. Sweet! Although we searched the internet the night before, we couldn't find an elevation map for Merritt to Kamloops. However, we did learn that Kamloops was about 750 feet lower than Merritt. Therefore, as we left Merritt, we assumed that day 4 would be mostly downhill.
So here we are, an hour or so out of Merritt. We've been climbing for most of the 17 kilometers we've gone so far. We didn't really have a good idea what the road was going to be like. We know Kamloops is lower than Merritt, but as we came around this corner, you can see that there's still a bunch of upward elevation climb on the highway. So hopefully when we get over that last little thing there, it's going to be downhill all the way to Kamloops.
Got the worst of Coquihalla yesterday. Not so much. This is pretty challenging climbing. We're at 20 kilometers so far today.
Don't create expectations. We thought we were going around a corner at the top, and that's still ahead of us. Lesson learned.
Okay, so I'm now at the top of that hill that we saw last time, and unfortunately it doesn't look like, well, I can't tell you. So, about 70 meters of elevation gain. Hopefully it's down there somewhere and it'll catch it up soon. And really thankful for the huge tailwind this morning. It's a great help getting up these hills.
So the Coquihalla summit was 1,266 meters. So we've climbed another, I don't know, 180 or something like that. So this is nice. It's been a very dispiriting climb after climb after climb. So we got about 2,500 feet of descent to Kamloops in about 45 kilometers.
We learned an important lesson on day 4, which turned out to be one of the most difficult rides of the entire trip. Although the climbing wasn't as physically challenging as the day before, our misinformed expectations made it a far more mentally challenging ride. It was a lesson we vowed not to repeat.
It occurred to me on the open road one day that it might be hard to go back and sit behind a computer all day in an office after you've done this for 2 months straight. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Woohoo! Living the dream!
Living the dream would become the theme of our trip, and at some point every day we would declare it with a high five in recognition of the fact that we truly were living our dream.
How's day 5 going, Ken?
Oh, it's been a dream so far. We got no breeze, we got a beautiful day, and it's been flat to downhill. This is the ultimate statement of the Cross Canada adventure. Ken just had a little bit of a scare with his Garmin. He looked down and it was gone. We had just climbed about a 2-kilometer hill out of Chase. And so he rode back. He was going to ride back to town and only had to ride about 500 meters, and he found it lying on the pavement. We're now entering Lake Country. This is the little shoe shop at Chase, BC. Just got a whiff of freshly growing spruce trees. It's amazing.
While the first 4 days had us distracted with getting started and then grueling climbing, it was on day 5 that we began to realize and appreciate the gift we had been given to be able to take time for an adventure like this.
This is what happens when we go downhill. Neither of us pedal, and for some reason I overtake him. What do you want, Ken?
Frappy iced chai latte.
Well, we couldn't find a shuttle downtown to the restaurants and movies, so we're hoofing it.
And I'm a lousy hitchhiker.
Ken's trying though.
To pick us up.
100 kilometers to Revelstoke. So good climbs this morning on the way to Sycamoose. Find I've got to be careful on the climbs in the morning. Make sure that I save enough energy for the afternoon, because we never know what's coming. Surprisingly, it's day 6 and we just stopped at our first Tim Hortons. Goodbye Lake Country, we're now heading into the Rockies. 43 kilometers down, 60 to go. We decided to go 20 kilometers from Tim Hortons before we're gonna have lunch. It'll be the halfway point. The Rockies are coming.
reproduction of a picture of the driving of the last spike. In the gift shop, they actually have each one of these people identified, including this 11-year-old boy. He might still be alive, I don't know. Have to do the math.
The last spike is the golden one right there. 40 kilometers from Revelstoke, and I just felt the first drops of rain on the whole trip. Well, it didn't start raining, but we've come over this ridge, and it's definitely gotten a lot cooler. We'd love to stop and visit. But places to go, people to see. Well, the heavens have opened. We're having our first weather. Alright, it slowed down a little bit, so we're going to make a go of it. 10 kilometers to Three Valley Gap. I've always wanted to stop at Three Valley Gap, so today's the day. Not really expecting it to be conditions like this, but it'll be a good place to warm up and dry off. Waiting out the rain at the Three Valley Gap. It's actually a beautiful place. I'm just not exactly sure what would draw people here. Well, we're on the road again. It's actually warmer in here than it was in the lakes is one of the first going. It's actually not so bad. We got about 18 kilometers to go to get to Revelstoke, so we'll do that at least an hour. Maybe better. See you there. We've arrived in Revelstoke. We actually decided that we like riding in the rain. It's comfortable, warmer than sitting in that dining room, and it was getting us closer to the destination. Right, today's the Rogers Pass, 149 kilometers to Golden. How do you feel, Ken?
I feel good. Ready to tackle the challenge.
Got the rain covers on, the rain pants.
Feeling strong this morning, Cam?
I'm feeling good. A little nervous about the day, but slow and steady. Slow and steady.
You had a good night's rest.
That's the Rockies. We made it. Well, we're 18 kilometers into the Rogers Pass climb. We climbed about 120 meters so far net. But so far so good. We'll see you at the summit. Mount Revelstoke National Park, the first of the national parks. Oops. That was a picture. Well, we're about halfway to the summit of Rogers Pass. Got some good climbing in front of us, but it looks pretty manageable. Ken is doing a gear change because it's warming up. Alright, we're at the Rogers Pass. I think we've got about 15 kilometers to go. It's feeling okay. It's a long, long day. A lot of hours in the saddle. We're already 4 hours in the saddle. We're not even at the top. Okay, we're climbing the last leg of the Rogers Pass. Got about 4 kilometers left. A couple more kilometers. This makes me happy. We've reached the top of Rogers Pass summit.
And we both feel happy. How do you feel, Ken?
Very, very happy.
Me too. This is good horsing around.
That's good joking around.
So we just came through the snow tunnels on Rogers Pass here, and I always think of Doug Pippis, who ventured through there in grade 12 after he'd finished grade 12 with a buddy, and they were kind of late at night, and they were feeling their way along the sides of the snow tunnels inside. Way to go, Doug.
I don't know if you can see him, but there was a recumbent. He's riding from Victoria to Edmonton. And he passed us while we were in the visitor center, I guess. He left at 8:30 this morning, so he's doing pretty good. Day 8. Dawned gray and cloudy. We have to head up there, so it looks pretty foggy up there on the highway. Heading to Bounce, whose birthday today, so I get to spend tonight with Sue on her birthday. We just came around the corner after this just happened. It looks like he's okay. It's the guy in the turban. But this is one of the worst roads. You see that they're starting to twin it. Wow. Ken and I had ridden this leg in our first cycling trip in 1998, and many times since. It was nice to be back in familiar territory. It used to be at the canyon floor, river level at this point. They replaced it with this bridge. The highway used to be down there, and you took one quick sprint hill, probably about 1.5 kilometers up to the top. Now we've got this 4-kilometer grind. I think I liked it better when it was just one hill at the end. But we're almost to the top, so let's finish her up. We've climbed so much today, we're now officially in the clouds. But we're right near the end of 10 Mile Hill, or the top of where 10 Mile Hill was, and so we're done the worst of the climbing for the morning. Where are we, Ken?
We're at Continental Breakfast. No, the Divide. Continental Divide. 16 meters on the Garmin.
So we've climbed to the top of the Continental. Nice! It's all downhill from here then.
We believe so.
Alright, the Alberta border is here somewhere. We're not quite sure where.
It's under construction.
Well done, Ken.
Awesome job, Ken.
The Alberta border actually was under construction, and we had to wait until we got to Saskatchewan before we could manufacture some very flat footage of the Alberta border sign.
Okay, we're riding now. We're between Lake Louise and Banff. Sue's joined us this morning as we're getting our gear packed for day 9, a ride into Calgary. Did you have a nice night, Sue?
Really nice.
So,
That settles.
any words of encouragement for us?
One more day. Rest.
One more day! One more day!
Well, we're on our way to Calgary, and gonna have a rest day tomorrow. Both of us really need a rest day. Legs are getting very tired, losing feeling in my hands, so looking forward to rest day. But as we ride through Banff and Canmore, we both are struck by how beautiful it is. With everything we've seen, you know, it doesn't get a whole lot more beautiful than this. Ken, are you looking forward to getting home for a rest day?
Did you pull the Catholic?
What's Ken doing? Distracted driving on the phone. He's talking to Elaine on the phone, and Elaine's tracking us on the computer with Find My Friends. 9 days in the mountains, and here's where we start to exit. So you're sad to be leaving the mountains, Ken?
Sad like a toothache.
I guess I'm the sentimental one. Lunch today is at the beautiful Stony Dakota Casino Resort. Neither of us have ever been here, so we're interested to check it out. Our longtime riding buddy, Jim Mahood, is meeting us at the top of Scott Lake Hill.
Yeah.
Jimmy, how are ya?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, nice to see ya.
You made banners.
All right, nice.
Jim is an old friend who has ridden with us on many of our bike trips. It was great to be joined on our ride into Calgary by a familiar face.
There's a sight for sore eyes, Calgary. Finally, woohoo! Well, look who met us here as we came into Calgary. My family and my mom and dad and Sue. Thank you guys. What does it say? Way to go, Dad. Thank you guys. Well, I saw you and I saw the arms waving.
But it wasn't me.
It wasn't you. So somebody in the car thought, I wonder why that guy on the bike is motioning.
Made it. Nice one. All right, Ken, have a good ride home. We'll see you on Wednesday morning to start leg 2, the Prairies.